Coming up this February, I'm going to be hosting a group trip to Tanzania to go climb Kilimanjaro, which is one of the 7 summits of the world. Super interesting, very beautiful mountain in Tanzania in Africa. I'm very excited to be hosting this group trip, and I would absolutely love it if you would join me on this trip. So today in this video, I'm going to be running through all of the logistics and the itineraries and some of the common questions that have already started to pop up about this trip to help you feel equipped to see if this trip is right for you. So first off, I just got back from a group trip up in Canada and the Canadian Rockies and just had an amazing time. I got to travel with 18 other people, and I just had a beautiful, heartfelt experience with these 18 other travelers. I loved it so much that I was ready to jump on and do it again. So this coming February, I'll be hosting a group trip for up to about 20 people to go climb Kilimanjaro in Tanzania with me. I'm super excited about it. I've wanted to go climb Kilimanjaro. It's been on my bucket list. So I'm going to be talking about what we're going to do, as well as some of the logistics and kind of easing some of the fears or concerns that people might have, because it is a big trip and it is a big endeavor to go climb one of the great mountains of the world. So if you've never done a group travel trip, it is an incredible way to travel the world, to have some of the fears or logistics or just the headaches of what big travel trips can be taken care of for you. And that's why I love doing trips like this and love introducing other people to adventurous experiences or just getting to travel with other wonderful, like-minded people. Let's dive in. This is what's happening. I am going to be hosting a 9-day trip to Tanzania to climb Kilimanjaro. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Kilimanjaro, it is a 19,341 foot peak. It is a volcano in Tanzania. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is an incredible mountain because if you're hiking or climbing this mountain, you will go through 5 different ecological zones, starting in a rainforest and going all the way into what's categorized as an Arctic environmental zone. So you get to pretty much see every zone that this planet has to offer. Having climbed some mountains in Africa before, it is fascinating to see just the wildlife and the trees and the vegetation and the ecology on a mountain like this. It's going to be pretty wild. All right, some specifics about this trip. It begins February 14th, 2026. Everybody will fly into Kilimanjaro International Airport. We'll all meet up at the airport, and then we'll get transferred from the airport to the hotel together, where we'll get to meet up and just have kind of the initial bonding experience. Of course, we will be having a group chat started well before so we can answer and ask questions and just get to know each other, which is always a fun part of the way that the group travel trip works. I'm still in group chats from years ago and they're still going strong today, so it's pretty cool to be a part of that. The first night we will be staying in a hotel called the Springsland Hotel in Moshi, Tanzania, and that's nearby to where the trek will begin. For those of you who are maybe concerned about the physical rigors of a trip like this, I am confident that if you have some baseline physical skills and if you go and do some hiking and if the outdoors is a common space for you, that you will be fine. And what's great about a trip like this is that you will have some significant help from a very talented team of guides and porters. And if you haven't done a trip like this before, that's actually one of the best parts of the trip, is getting to work with locals, having guided experiences, and having porters and people that are local to the area help you and assist you along the way. And I've been fortunate enough to do other similar or related experiences, and it's been my favorite thing to have like porters showing up at your tent in the morning with hot tea and kind of welcoming you to the day and just going above and beyond to help make this special. What's also cool about this is that you are not responsible for carrying a huge amount of gear. So even though this will be a multi-day adventure where we'll be sleeping in tents and in sleeping bags at the end of each day, you won't have to carry everything. You are just responsible for moving yourself up the mountain, going and acclimatizing at your pace, and interacting with the other travelers and asking questions to the guides and really just enjoying yourself. All the meals, all of the camp setup will be helped out by the team, by the porters, by the guides, and that just really makes it where you can focus on just moving yourself, and that's where you should be focusing on a trip like this. On the first day, we will travel from the Moshi Hotel to the Machame base camp. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce all these names or these locations, so forgive me if you happen to know the actual pronunciations. And that's really just going to be acclimatizing on that first day. We're going to be moving up a couple of thousand feet, just mostly in the drive and in the transport, and then sleeping at an elevation of about 5,000 feet that night. We will do some walking and hiking and kind of getting acclimatized to the slightly higher elevation so that even if you are coming from, say, sea level, you're going to be okay with getting acclimatized on a trip like this. Kilimanjaro has a number of different routes that go up to the very top, and we will be doing a route called the Machame route, and otherwise known as the Whiskey route. Which sounds pretty fun to me. We will be doing the trek over a 7-day window of time, which will allow us enough time to acclimatize, to move up the mountain steadily each day, and to really prevent getting sick and altitude sickness. Now, altitude sickness is a tricky thing, and it could strike anybody, myself included, but we are going to be doing all of the things necessary to minimize the risks of altitude sickness and maximize the chances of everybody getting to the top and having a great time up at the summit. So day 1 of the trek, we will leave from the Machame Gate at 6,000 feet. We will be hiking approximately 5 to 7 hours over a 7-mile hike. We will be rising up approximately almost 4,000 feet that first day, so we'll still be under 10,000 feet that first day, which is a big ascent, a big gain, but I think that will be, it will still be under 10,000 feet, so I think most people will not have as much trouble moving, and we'll have plenty of time to actually get all of that distance and up that elevation gain, and of course, help from the guides and the porters will make that really not terribly difficult. That first day, one thing that's cool is that we'll be in the rainforest. We'll probably be able to see colobus monkeys and a bunch of different really unique wildlife habitats for animals. Of course, there is an amazing array of wildlife in Tanzania, and as we climb, we will be leaving a lot of those wildlife zones behind, but we will be seeing some very, very unique plant life and ecology and all of those things. But the first day of the trek, I'm very excited to be trekking through the rainforest. That's going to be a lot of fun. Day 2 of the trek, we will be hiking from just under 10,000 feet going up to Shira Camp at 12,600 feet, which is a distance of only 3 miles, and we will be doing that over 4 to 6 hours. So you'll see that some of the distances actually aren't that great, but we'll be moving slower as we start to really climb out of the more gentle elevations and up into the higher elevations to really allow us all to have that time where we're not getting sick and it's not just overly difficult for us. Day 3, we will be hiking from 12,600 feet to Lava Tower and to Barranco Camp, which is at just about 13,000 feet. We'll be hiking over 6 miles and about 6 to 8 hours of hiking that day to make that happen. And we'll start getting up into this like kind of semi-desert region, which is going to be really cool to see that change as we go from rainforest through moorland to semi-desert. It's going to be pretty neat. Okay, so one unique thing about day 3 is that we will be leaving camp at 12,600 feet, climbing up as high as 15,200 feet, and then descending back down to 13,000 feet. And the reason why we do that is we're giving our bodies time to acclimatize, but then we're sleeping a little bit lower so that our bodies aren't as stressed. So there is a common strategy in mountaineering where you climb high and sleep low, and that will help your body adjust as you go up. So even though you're going to be ascending and then descending on your journey up, it's a tried and true strategy in mountaineering that will really help eliminate a lot of the altitude sickness or minimize altitude sickness and things like that. Day 4 of the trek is actually a fairly short day. So again, another day to get acclimatized, but we will be leaving Barranco Camp at 13,000 feet and hiking up a whopping 250 feet of gain that day. Of course, doing some up and downs as well along the way, but hiking only 3 miles over about 4 or 5 hours. So that will be not a terribly difficult day, but again, just another opportunity to get your body adjusted to these kinds of altitudes, which will really help for the further push towards the summit. Day 5, we will be leaving Karanga Camp at 13,250 feet, going to Barafu Camp at 15,350 feet. This is where we're going to base ourselves for the final big push up to the top of the mountain. Day 5, we're only going to be hiking 2 miles and about 4 or 5 hours of moving time, which again might seem really slow, but that's part of the point. You go very, very slowly. We were not going to be racing our way up this mountain, and it gives us time, again, to just make sure that we're focusing on our breath, focusing on acclimatizing, enjoying the sights and sounds of the space, interacting with each other, and really enjoying the experience of being here and not just trying to run up this mountain as fast as we can. Then day 6, big day. We are going for our summit day. We're going to be leaving 15,350 feet. We're going to be going all the way to the summit at 19,340 feet. So we will try to go to bed early the night before, and then we'll get up about midnight, and then we will do our summit push starting in the dark, which is always, I think, really fun. It's a really cool way to get up, get in the dark, and to start climbing, and to make sure that the weather and things that are going to be as accommodating as possible. It's a tried and true tactic in mountaineering to get up in the middle of the night and to spend your early hours of the morning actually hiking, and then you get to oftentimes get to the summit around sunrise, which is very, very cool. So we will be doing a 3-mile ascent followed by a 8-mile descent, hiking all day, about 8 hours in the day. So it's a big day, 7 to 8 hours on the ascent and another 4 to 6 hours on the descent. So again, that is a big day, but it's going to be exciting. And once we are starting our journey down, that's just, you're starting to cruise your way back down the mountain. So what's cool about this is that you are going to be going all the way from the Arctic tundra up at the top of Kilimanjaro and then descending all the way down back into rainforest. So seeing some extreme terrain. There's still glaciers on Kilimanjaro, which is one thing that I'm really excited to see. Those glaciers might not stick around a whole lot longer. So if you do want to go see some of these sites before they're gone, now is a really good time to go and see these spaces. Day 7 of the trek, we will be going from 10,000 feet and descending the rest of the way back to the Machame Gate, back down at 5,550 feet or so. That will be our finish of the trek. After completing the 7-day trek, we will be going back to the Springsland Hotel that we started at that first night. We'll have a group dinner, which is always super, super fun after having a bonding experience like this, to just celebrate and, enjoy the time that we got to spend together. And then the next day we will have breakfast, and then everybody will depart or have the option to go on and go see a safari or go do anything else, other travels on their own, or to go back to the airport and fly home if they desire. So I get a lot of questions about who this trip is for, and people being concerned that maybe it's too aggressive for them. And again, I think if you are a hiker or just somebody who goes outside and does some physical things, you have a good baseline of fitness, I think you'll be just fine. Even if you're coming from sea level, we will have professional guides, we will have porters who help us carry everything along the way, doing everything that they can to ensure the highest success. We will be making sure that everybody is taken care of. If anybody does need to turn around and go back down the mountain for whatever health conditions or health reasons they might have, that will still mean that the rest of the group will be able to carry on and get to the summit and see and have that experience for themselves. One thing that will also be cool is a lot of the gear will be provided by the guide team that's out there. So tents and things like that will be provided. You do just need to bring your own sleeping bag and the warm clothes that you will need and the various clothing that you'll be wearing for the rainforest and all the way up the mountain and back down. But a lot of the other stuff will be provided, so you don't need to do a ton of logistics and thinking and planning. That's the beautiful part of a trip like this. You can just say, yep, I want to go do that. Click the button, sign up and go. Make sure that you're doing a little bit of fitness and activity leading up to the trip so that you're training so that this is a fun and enjoyable experience. And then you just get to focus on playing and being with friends and being with new people and really just enjoying yourself. Just a FYI, Trova Trip does have a ton of information in the portal here if you sign up and go on this trip to help you be prepared to go on this trip. There's a whole kind of pamphlet or booklet, if you will, of just information for those who are curious, for those who want more information about it. Make sure that you go to the trip page and just check it out. And this is, if you do sign up and get your spot, it is a refundable trip, so if for whatever reason you need to cancel, there is a window in which you can do that. There's 2 pricing tiers for this trip. There's the early bird price at $32.95, and then there's the regular price at $34.95, so a $200 difference if for those of you who are able to jump on and snag those last 4 spots that are available. That price tag will include everything that you need outside of airline travel to get to the Kilimanjaro airport, and some additional things like tipping and then gifts and souvenirs that you might want to purchase, and alcohol. But food, lodging, and the guides and porter service are all included in this, which makes it a really simple thing. You can just sign up on the trip and go, and you don't have to think about a whole lot. If this is anything like previous trips, we'll have a wonderful time together, full of bonding, full of hilarious puns and jokes and just laughter and friendships that will go on for a long, long time. There are still spots available, but once this video goes live, if it's anything like previous trips, the spots will book up relatively quickly. So I encourage you to go check out the trip page below and go see if this trip is right for you. And I really hope that I can see you in Tanzania to go climb to the highest point in Africa, which sounds like a dang good time. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I hope to see you there. Hit me up in the comments below if you have any questions. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Eric Hansen. I'll see you in Africa, I hope.